Hey guys, what's up? It's me Greg here with a new video for you guys. Today I have a mock showcase. I was initially going to be showing part of this in the weekly update coming this week, but I don't have enough other stuff to show, and I ended up actually just finishing this mock, so I was like, why don't I just do a mock showcase instead? So here we are. It's a pretty small mock. It only took me probably about 15 hours of build time over the course of 2 days, really just Friday or today's Friday, so Thursday and today. I'm quite happy with the way it turned out. It's an actual building that I saw while I was in France. It's in the city of Caen. Caen. I know there is a correct and an incorrect way to pronounce it, but I am not French and I cannot pronounce it the correct way, so I'm not going to try. Anyway, so there are it's not 100% accurate. I don't even know if there was actually fighting at the church itself, but it's just something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I had initially wanted to include U.S. soldiers, but I know that they didn't actually fight in the city. They were in like Saint-Lô and on the outskirts, outside the city, but it was the British that were the ones that fought inside the city itself. So anyway, this is the Saint-Étienne-les-Vaux church. I think it's also called Old St. Stephen's. So if you look up, Old St. Stephen's Church in France, you should get a picture that looks somewhat like this. Obviously this is just a small portion of it. There are basically, if you looked at the church from the front side, so you have an aisle going down right here where this is the outside wall of the aisle, then you have the nave and then the other aisle. This wall is where there'd be flying buttresses that are kind of connecting to the centerpiece, but in the battle itself, I don't know if it was air raids. I'm assuming, obviously it was air raids. I'm assuming it was before the battle, but could have taken place during the battle itself. The whole nave was basically of the front side of the church, and the right aisle, if you're looking at it from this way, was just obliterated. There are still some flying buttresses and the aisle on the other side, and then the big tower and the I forgot the circle part or the semicircle part at the front, because this is one of the pieces that comes off the side. It's the transept. So this is one of the transepts, this piece right here that comes off on the right side. Then there's another one on the other side, and then the I think this is called the apse, right in the middle, where there'd be a big curved piece right there, and then of course you have the big tower. So don't know if that's the exact terms. I don't remember them from art history. I was trying to recall as I am talking. Anyway, so we're just going to jump right into it. I went with a tan color scheme for the base, and then where there was damage and whatnot to the building itself, I went with light bluish gray and dark tan to kind of give it a worn and weathered feel. I feel like that was achieved pretty well. So I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. I had originally, so you have these pieces here, this piece right here, and then these two pieces on the corner, and then the one right there, and then this last one right there. Those 5 or 4, I really can't do math right now, my brain is fried. So you got 2, 4, 5. There are 5 of them. Those were originally only going to be outside of the wall or the main structure of the building by a half stud. I had them on jumper plates, and that was a pain in the butt. Absolutely terrible. The inside of the church was a gross mess, so I changed it, and I just decided to go a whole brick out, and I think it looks okay. It's not perfect, obviously, but it's what we're working with. Then you have a window. Obviously this is much smaller than the window that was physically there. This is a scaled down version of the building. This window right here is probably the size of the window that should be right there. But I wasn't aiming for something to be that large, especially if I was just going to have Germans. I don't have British soldiers to put anywhere in the mock, so we're just going to have to go with the Germans. Then obviously over here you've just got a ton of rubble. I do have a couple larger pieces that were actually built. So there's like this arch piece right here, and then there's another one right there with a bunch of just 1x1s on top of it. So yeah, and then we're going to go around to the back side. I just want to real fast show you guys what this rear section looked like. I hadn't really planned on showing it, but I would like in photos or whatever, I'd hoped that you might be able to see this pattern on the floor through the window. It's a little bit glary, so I don't know if that might work out. And then over here, I put it there just in case you could see through the rubble. Obviously it's a little thick, so you can't actually see through any of it, except for maybe right there on the edge. This is what I assume the interior looked like. Obviously it's not going to be as messy as that is, but when you're just filling in stuff and it doesn't need to be visible, you can kind of go with whatever you want. So that's really what happened here. This is what, I don't normally show you guys the insides of my builds, but this is what they look like often enough. So yeah, the window itself is just in there with friction. It's quite interesting actually. And then same with that one. I would have liked to put a black piece separating the pieces of glass, but that didn't work out. The roof is probably one of my favorite things. I got it to just fit just right, and it meets up there almost perfectly. I got to this, I mean, I would have had to do something like this anyway, because there was like a round, or what in the picture that I have, it looks like a round tube going across the top of the roof anyway. So it just fits just right. And then you could see the wooden beams that are what would hold the roof together. You can see those from this angle right here. So yeah, it for this video. As I accidentally take a picture and then think that I ended the recording, this would have been my third time doing that. Yeah, just some smaller details there, I guess. A new gas can with printing on it. And then I quite like this. This is actually just comes right off. It's a little gate. There was one now, like a more modern photo that I found. There's just like a little wooden fence right there. But in the older photos that I have seen, it's like there's a metal gate of some kind right there, so I just figured I'd put that there. Now in actuality, there's a big rock or wall, I guess. I don't really know what you'd call it, but it's this big chunk of rock that just kind of runs along parallel to this wall here, and then it comes up to be this big, it looks like a seawall basically. But I obviously could not include that myself, so just kind of left it as is. And I don't actually think there was any grass or anything. I just felt like throwing in some color. But yeah, again, that's going to be it for this video, guys. It's close on 10 minutes now, so really happy with the way this turned out, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Peace out.